What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday night. Anon here, and we are finally starting to see some big time price action again with not only Pokemon Center exclusive sealed ETBs, but also some of the promos inside. So, as those of you who've paid attention, over the last couple months, things have started to really slow down and kind of stagnate with the sealed product, but the singles, which had multiple buyouts over months, early 2025, have started to sell off. And now we're finally starting to see a little bit of action back in the mix. So I want to walk through this really for everybody's benefit. And I want to talk about just some items that we're seeing here, and a lot of the items that we've been hammering as oversold or having a lot of value have really started to spring back. So we're gonna get right into it here. So the two SV base, right on $200. I think these are super short printed. The actual ETBs themselves, I think, are still good value here. There's not a whole lot of the market. They've been slow. SV base is one of those sets that it's going to sneak up on people, I think, just because there's not a whole lot in the market with the regular booster boxes. There was a decent size reprint in early 2024, but since then there's been nothing. So let's get right into the meat of it. Paldean Evolved, this should be $500. It really should be. It's at $365. It is up from April. Good amount. There's only 27 in the market. This is another one that was really short printed. Obsidian Flames. This thing just exploded to new highs in the last 3 weeks. $475. 24 available. This has the Charmander on the window, which I believe is the third card that matches up with the 2 Stellar Crown, the Bulbasaur, and the Squirtle, I believe. I think there's 3 of them. But that card's super hard to grade. So $475 here. And then this is an absolute rocket ship. The 151 the 151 Pokemon Center ETBs. They're going to push $1,000 here. I bought a couple cases of these, and I think I paid $850 for them. Never in anybody's wildest dreams did they expect this to be at $1,000 per ETB, not even per case. This is per ETB. And with these rotating out in 6 months, the sky's the limit. I don't even know what to think about these. So 27 on the market. They're just zooming. And it's the same with the regular ETBs. With the booster bundle displays, the Mew Ultra Premium Collection, any high quality sealed product in this set is going nuts. Meanwhile, they're printing the shit out of the individual packs. The packs are stagnating between $9, $10, $11, depending on where you're looking for them. But this really gives you a sense of what the market values as we think about prismatic evolutions and all of the packs that are getting dumped on the market. The high quality assets rise to the top. So it's just something to keep in the back of your head, because we are literally living what happened with 151 12 to 18 months ago with prismatic evolutions today. So you're watching the movie, you may as well, get ready to watch it a second time, because history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme. So Paradox Rift, Roaring Moon, 194, Iron Valiant, 139. Iron Valiant is super undervalued here. I know the the promo set isn't great. There aren't a whole lot of these. Again, 42,350 each is the estimated print run from when we were able to scrape Pokemon Center before they fixed it. So there's some value there. Paldean Fates. Bubble Mew is absolutely insane. It's pushing $500-$600 now. Raw. It's gone completely parabolic. Then you have the Gardevoir, you have the Charizard. Paldean Fates, in my mind, could very well be the best set in Scarlet and Violet. And everybody's going to say 151. Everybody's going to say Prismatic, Journey Together. But Paldean Fates is not going to have the print runs that those sets either have already or will have by the time they rotate out. Paldean Fates rotates out in April of 2026. There's not much out there. The demand is there because there's hits in the set. So now we have to see, is there going to be a meaningful reprint or a meaningful amount of supply pushed on the market? Or is this one just going to be an afterthought and it's like, hey, you know what? We wish you the best of luck. And it's gone. Now, we have seen some tech stickers on Walmart, but other than that, we've really seen nothing. 33 of these in the market. We'll see what happens. The two temporals, 178, 182. These are pretty pricey, especially for the promos. But they've moved up. I mean, these guys were at $100, $120 forever. So they finally moved. Twilight 148. This is something that I was pounding the pavement on for months after the second reprint came out, or I should say the second dump of product, second wave of the original printing, because these they have not reprinted as far as anybody knows, and pushed these down to $80, $85. 148. If this set had a good promo, they'd be at $250 to $300 right now. Doesn't, has a Teal Mask Ogopon playable card. People don't really like it, so it's still sitting at 148. I do think there's some value here, which brings us to Shrouded Fable. Everybody's favorite set to shit on. Shrouded Fable is probably only going to get the first print wave printed. And when we look back in 2 years and the set goes nuts because it's hard to find, everybody's going to say, how did I miss it? That's where we're at with Shrouded Fable. It is a small set. The set is actually reasonably good, in spite of the fact that it's small and there's not a whole lot of value in there because there aren't a whole lot of cards. That being said, at $98, $100 for this, it's really, really tough to not take a serious look at this and say, I should probably buy some. So brings us to Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown was up at 175. And then we had Nationals, was it? In New Orleans. And they sold a bunch of this product to the people that were attending. That managed to push the price down to sub 130. We're sitting at 124 today. This was on the Pokemon Center site in the UK for a while. I haven't looked to see if it sold out. I would imagine it sold out, but there was some product in Europe as well. So that may have been part of what was sold. So we will see. What is this? These aren't right. Whatever. The changes don't matter. So, which brings us to Surging Sparks. 210, all-time high. When this came out and everybody dumped it on the market, I was screaming to buy this at $100. It's now at 210. The supply is all the way down to 60 units left. Now, we know that there is a reprint of Surging and Twilight coming out for Elite Trainer boxes. I've gotten an allocation from one distro of 3 cases each. So if this is a massive supply dump, I'm not seeing it. Happy to get a couple cases of these for ETBs. I'm going to be really, really interested to see if this is a true reprint, which I kind of think it's probably going to be. But both of these sets are from 2024. So it could be a second wave. It could be something they're sitting on. It could be product from Europe or other English-speaking countries that didn't move. I mentioned in one of my other videos, I am still able to import Twilight and Surging Sparks ETBs from non-US English-speaking countries at a far cheaper price than I can buy them on the market in the US. So the product is out there for certain. Like I said, I'm kind of leaning it's probably a reprint, but it would not shock me if it's kind of a mishmash of first print wave that they're just pushing out into the market. So we'll see. Prismatic, big jump here. These were 250, 260 for a little bit, and it was kind of languishing. We jumped up to 310. I just bought a bunch of these and kind of got lucky on the timing. So it's up 24%. Journey Together. We did, it was one of our, in our Discord, it was an item that we were targeting because we thought it was extremely oversold at $106 to $110. I bought a bunch of them. We're back up to 130. There's down to 94 in the market. Now, the one thing with Journey Together that's different than what we saw with Surging and Prismatic is when Surging and Prismatic and also Twilight sold into the market on a Pokemon Center. As soon as those products shipped, we showed 200 plus for sale on Pokemon Center, and it sat there for a while. Now with Journey, we can see it was at 200 right after the set came out, but the fact that we're down at 94 is a little encouraging. So we know there's a lot of product out there. I'm guessing far fewer people flip this to make 150 bucks, and they either sold them privately or they're sitting on them, which is pretty interesting. Destined Rivals. I didn't see this one coming. So a lot of these didn't hit the market. We did not see a huge influx. If we look here, shortly after release, we're at 83. We're at 103 now, but we're up from 85, 185. I think it was as low as 165-ish. And I should have jumped. I have my one copy, or my one item that I have for Pokemon Center. We're up to 248, 34% increase in 3 weeks. Going absolutely nuts. The promo has been well received, sitting right at $70 as well. If you want to buy it, I'd probably buy it now, or just pass on it and go from there. Black Bolt, White Flare. What's interesting is we had 2 dumps, as we normally do, or 2 periods of selling. We had one when the sets were announced, and we had when the sets were released. Everybody got them, but if you see here, we've only seen 75 and 90 in the market. So we're not seeing the multiple hundreds on the market that we've seen in the past. So things have changed a little bit. And I think this is really the public perception around value. Do I take it fast because I made it fast? Or do I look at this and say, you know what, these are all performing well. I'm going to sit on this for a little bit because, I've been dealing with Pokemon and I have a decent amount of capital now because everything's gone up and I don't need to flip things. So the green highlights are obviously the ones that have moved pretty significantly. There shouldn't be any surprises there, quite honestly. They've all been pretty well publicized. Moving to the promos, I'm only going to touch on the ones that move significantly here. So, as I mentioned, some of these have just kind of languished a little bit. This is over the last month, so really since the 21st. But I do want to mention the Paldean Pikachu. This is up finally. Let me make sure. Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is up. This was up at 125 at one point. It's back up to 92. Quite honestly, I think this card's super undervalued. This should probably be up there with the Charmander and the Snorlax. 32 available. The Charmander's back up to 175. A big jump there. Snorlax up to 176, big jump there. I actually bought a PSA 9 today at a show. I don't really do shows, but it was in the area and it was convenient. I only paid 140 for it. I thought that was decent value, and that's the only Pokemon Center version that I have that's not in a sealed ETB. So I thought that was kind of cool. The Mimikyu. This was as high as 50. This is back up to 39. What's interesting here is there have been hundreds of these on the market because I think when Paldean Fates and the sets before them came out, people would just rip them. So there's a lot less sealed product and a lot more singles. But with this ETB showing up at 365, 375 on its way to, quite honestly, $400 and $500, the promo should be more than $39. Which you look at the 151 regular ETB, and you look at the regular Snorlax sitting at $11 or $12, and the ETB is at $350. You know what to do. The temporals, not much here. TMS, Gogapon, Petron, just kind of dead. It's kind of churning a little bit of volume. Petron, not really. At some point, these are going to tick up and do something. Knockdown, nothing here. Magneton. I want to talk about this one because this one was at $50 and then it sold off. And it sold off because when the set came out, it made sense to rip the Pokemon Center ETB, get the Magneton graded, open the packs, or sell the packs. Because you could do it. You could make a couple bucks, and then if you hit the PSA 10 on the Magneton, you were making like $200 in ETB when you were only paying 110 to 135. So what happened was, with the 2.5 to 4 month delay with PSA, a lot of these came back and dumped on the market. And I'm guessing they came back as 8s or 9s. People broke them out of the slabs, and then they sold them as near men on uh, TCG Player. So those are finally starting to get churned up. And if you look here, we have 155, 110. Now we only have 42. So this is about to start zooming. I think the entire Surging Sparks product line on the Pokemon Center exclusive side is it's primed. It's ready to go. Prismatic Eevee, same thing here. Exact same mechanic. We had a bunch of these come into the market that just they didn't grade out as a 10, and they got dumped. So now 119, 131, down to 69. So we're up 50%. I actually bought a PSA 10 of this one today too for 375, which I thought was a really good price. It's probably a $500, $600, $700 card over the next couple months as these start to recover. And Zorua, not much here. I would expect to see these numbers tick up a little bit. I don't know how much people were paying to grade these. Not a huge banger. Wobbuffet, 22, 28 of the market. This to me looks like either these are all being graded, there's not a whole lot here, or people are just not opening the the Pokemon Center ETB. Probably a mix of both because the Destin one, they're going nuts. Not much to do there. And then we have the Thunderous and the Tornadus. Nobody seems to give two shits about these promos. There's 52 and 48 in the market. I don't know how I feel about Black Bolt and White Flare. The sets don't really do it for me, quite honestly. But we'll see what happens. So last item here. So we plugged in the regular ETB, Pokemon Center ETB, the promo, and here we just took a relative over and under value. So regular ETB divided by 9 times 11 to normalize the number of packs. Plus the promo minus the PC ETB. So this tells me that the Pokemon Center ETB is overvalued by $63.71. These are horribly overvalued. Now 151 is only overvalued because the Pokemon Center ETB went absolutely crazy. Hold on. I screwed this up. This is last month. Let me fix this because this is going to look vastly different. Let's fix our formulas here. There's a concept, right? Now it's going to look a lot different. Now it's actually overvalued by 400. Let me make sure the promos are right too. Yeah, I got to change columns here. I know I forgot to do something. But this gets us to the right answer. So now we're overvalued. Well, I can dig Paldean Fates out of here because now that's way, way overvalued. We take Destined out because that's also way overvalued. So we have a bunch of overvalued. Iron Valiant, again, it's cheap. There's not a whole lot of value with the promo. The regular ETB is only $80. The rest of these are reasonably overvalued based on the regular ETB. I still like Paldean Fates. I bought one today. There was another one that got kind of snaked when I walked out for a second because I was going back to get it. Twilight, the regular ETB is at 105. The market does not seem to care that there's more coming. However, the market for Surging has tanked from 107 down to 90 because there's more coming. So it's Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown is huge value here compared to the ETB, the regular ETB and the promo. And then the same with Journey. It's still a good value. And just look at the month-over-month change. Every single one of these, except for the Miraidon, which is a rounding error. Surging, which everybody knows a reprint's coming. Prismatic, which has gotten dumped. And White Flare, which is out, is down a little bit because it's released. Every single one of these is up, and some of them are up significantly. Walking Wake is up. Paldean Fates is up $25. Twilight up $18. 151 up 75. Obsidian up 12. Paldea up 7. I mean, Journey Together's up $9 and Destin's up 5. This is a very, very strong market for sealed, and it's starting to pull some of the singles with it again. And we're a week to 2 weeks from people going back to school and vacations ending. The rest of Q3 and Q4 is going to be an absolute rocket ship. I don't give a shit what anybody tells you. I don't care what the idiotic clickbait titles are. This is a bull market and it's absolutely on fire. And as of right now, nothing's going to change. So, anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe, join the Discord. We have our first anniversary sale tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We've sold tickets. We're gonna randomize some of the one-off cases that I got that I didn't have enough quantity to run sales on. It's like Mewtwo cases, all the different ancillary prismatic cases. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, anyway, guys, have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.